What's up, Legacy Builders? I'm Rob.
I'm Reshawn.
And this is Learn, Hustle, Grow.
We help you build wealth and explore entrepreneurship so that you can leave a legacy.
She's a travel agent.
He's a realtor.
And we are debt-free entrepreneurs. Legacy Builders, we're bringing you another amazing entrepreneurial interview.
That's right. We are joined by none other than our long-term friend, Branka Yoranowska. She owns Infinity Spa and Wellness in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. She lives and owns a business in Hawaii.
Check it out.
Legacy Builders, we have an awesome guest for you today. Her
Yes.
name is Branka Yoranowska. Branka and I have been friends for over 30 years.
Wow.
And we are going to talk about entrepreneurship. She is actually one of the first entrepreneurs I ever knew. Started right out of college, but I'm not going to tell you her story because she is going to do that for us. Hey, Branka, welcome to the show.
What's up, Branka?
Hello, Rob, Rashawn. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
We are so excited. Okay, so I know how awesome you are, or we know how awesome you are.
Yeah.
Tell the Legacy Builders a little bit about yourself. Give us some background as far as where you're from and where you are now.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, went to high school with Rashawn, and that's how we know each other.
Yeah.
My family from the former Yugoslavia, from Macedonia, a very small country in the middle of Europe that most people have not heard of. So I grew up in a classic immigrant family. They moved to Chicago. My parents had 4 children they moved with, and moved around quite a bit. And I am currently in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is where I established my business.
Woo! Honolulu, Hawaii.
Nice.
It's always sunny.
We love Hawaii. What time is it there? What's our time difference?
It's 12-ish, 12 o'clock, 12:05. So it's about 4 hours, I think.
Okay.
We don't have daylight savings, so 4
Okay.
hours time of year, and then 5 hours when you guys change your time.
How long have you been in Hawaii?
I have been officially in Hawaii since 2009, April 2nd. Official meaning that's when I said I'm not going to move around left and right, going here and there. I'm going to make it work in Hawaii. But I was in Hawaii in 2006 the first time for a few months, scoping it out. And then I came back in late 2008 to get my certifications, went broke, had to leave to make money, and then 2009 was the year. So it's kind of a long-winded.
So, Branka, tell us your philosophy about money.
Well, money is basically, it's relative to where we're living and how much it costs to live there. It's basically about how much we can end up with in our pockets. So if we're making $1 million a year, but it's costing us $2 million to live in a place, we're not doing very well. So it's all relative.
So my understanding is that Hawaii has a relatively high cost of living.
Yes.
Would you say that's the case?
Absolutely. I would say that if I made this same income in the country I'm from, I would be a millionaire.
Absolutely. I'm sure.
My company's not selling millions as of yet, but it's a very expensive place when I compare it to other places on the mainland, not necessarily California. Hawaii tends to follow the California market as far as real estate goes. Cost of living is a little bit higher as far as groceries go, quite a bit higher with certain products.
So why did you choose to live in Hawaii?
Yeah,
I mean,
somewhere
so
expensive.
we know that you've traveled the world, right? So how did you land on Hawaii as the place to live?
Yeah.
It was more about timing. You know how they say you meet the right person when you're ready to? I was getting older. I was in my mid-30s, and I had been a wellness professional for a number of years, everything from personal training to massage therapy. And so I knew, based on my experience with mentors who had kind of coached me in my 20s, that I would have to think about where do I want to be in the years when I will not have the same physical capacity as I had to run alongside clients, training them for races, doing physical work like massage. So I said, okay, I need to park it and settle down this free-spirited lifestyle and commit to making it work in one place. Hawaii was the one because I really liked different countries.
Okay.
I could not make the same money as I could in the US. So opportunity was always best in the US. So Hawaii felt like another country while having the United States.
And
Okay.
tropical, yeah.
Love surfing, love the water. So it was a few of those things. It definitely, I did not move to Hawaii because it was the place to make money. And I always said no one comes to Hawaii because they want to make money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a chance. Yeah, she's taking a chance. You took a chance there, didn't you? Goodness.
Yes, I've been taking chances my whole life. So it was just a matter of dedication and drive, and was it meant to be? And I had given up on places before where it just wasn't meant to be that I loved. So Hawaii was another one that I was going to try.
Okay. So let's get specific about your business. What exactly is your business?
So I have a wellness company. It's two parts. It's I shrank it down quite a bit in the last few months. So it's a much simpler model than it was. So currently it's a spa. That's an oceanfront penthouse spa in Waikiki. It's the only one that's oceanfront and penthouse. So it's unique, beautiful. And that's one half of the business.
Mhm.
And the other half of the business is a fitness business. So I contract with hotels like the Hilton, the Halapuna, Outrigger, with a country club. And I basically staff and manage the fitness classes. And I'll create the menu if they allow me to. And so basically I have a team of teachers and substitutes that handle that part. That's my golden child business. And then I have spa, which is where it has more moving parts that need attention every day.
Okay. So have you always wanted to be in the fitness, wellness, and spa business? I mean, how did that come about?
Not necessarily. So my studies were international politics and economics because I wanted to understand the world. I knew I wanted to see the world from a young age. It might be just the memories of moving to a foreign country when I was quite young. And so I wanted to understand why the world was so different in different countries. Why some people struggled and others didn't.
Mhm.
It was more of a passion study. I never had a dream of having an office job. So I did try.
Have you ever had an office job? When we graduated from college, I don't remember you actually working anywhere.
I did for 9 months.
Oh, okay.
Only 9 months of your whole life? Office job?
Corporate, office, well, yes.
Okay.
I was a bank teller. That's not really office when I was in college. So after college, I worked in a restaurant. I grew up working in my family's sandwich shop. So it was a very easy default. I went and interviewed and got offered jobs. And every time I went on an interview, I said, wow, this isn't for me. It's very capped. I'm held captive. So after about 2.5, 3 years in the restaurant business, I said, I really need to try and use my degree. I cannot be in restaurants all my life. So I got a job.
I remember that. You were waitressing for a while, right?
I was, which is very lucrative.
Great money on tips.
It's been great. It's America. For KPMG for 9 months as an economic, which was wonderful. I learned a lot.
Okay.
I also learned that I couldn't continue to do that kind of work. I loved wearing suits to work, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that actually led me to my wellness profession.
Okay.
Direct way. So I started working out more than ever. I was already doing triathlons at the time, just like Olympic distance, not the Ironman. And in order to not be stressed at work, I would ride my bicycle to work in Chicago, even in the winters, and I would work out. And then I always had the spin classes and everything afterwards. And I was, making sure I was doing the business job by, getting out all the stress. And then I learned how much I made, which was a lot more than I was making working all those hours. And I said, well, I should just do what I'm enjoying and what I'm good at. I'm already training people for fun. Let me give that a try. So I quit KPMG, got a cocktail waitress job, and then tried to build up my clientele in Chicago, knowing that I was going to move to Los Angeles.
Okay. So, babe, did we hear that correctly? The waitressing job was making more money than the KPMG job?
That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh, yes. So I actually, personal training job was making more than KPMG job.
Okay.
But keep the waiting tables job when I was at KPMG just one day a week because it was so difficult to survive off entry level corporate America.
Okay, okay.
I think it's just the case generally. The beginning is tough and then you can really excel. But for me, I said, okay, well, I need to have some cash income. So I worked on Saturdays at the restaurant.
Okay.
And then
So you started the personal training business in Chicago?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was mentored there by amazing coaches that improved my results in triathlon racing. And so I really loved their philosophy of active meditation. It was life transforming. So when I moved to LA, I already knew what I wanted to do.
so Bronca, you are the prime example of someone who quit it all to follow their dreams, we see.
Yes, I for many years. Of course, it was a wonderful profession of being able to coach people and train them and
Mhm.
get them to live a healthy lifestyle. It was the best job I ever had.
Now, were you nervous when you left a corporate gig and picked up and moved to California to do, personal training?
Right. Huh. And you chose LA. Did you say why you did that?
I had gone to LA as a teenager and it was like paradise,
Okay.
Okay.
February during a winter storm in Chicago when I couldn't take my car out of the garage. I had to jog. I was still teaching like spin classes. I had to jog to the class to teach in the winter. So it was great. It was a dream come true to go to LA. Was I nervous to leave corporate America? No, because corporate America was more of an experiment to
Okay.
see if I could align myself with it.
Okay.
I have friends from college who did wonderfully. You know, Rashawn, you did wonderfully. You both have done professional jobs and excelled. So I had that example around me, and I said, well, I need to give it a chance. Maybe I'm a better fit than I think.
Did you have any money?
That's what I was gonna
How can
say.
you afford to move to
Yeah,
LA?
right. I was just about to say that.
Did you save up? I mean, believe me, our viewers, there are plenty of viewers who want to live in LA
Yeah.
or who want to leave corporate and follow their dream.
Yeah.
What does that look like from a financial
Right.
standpoint,
When you're
right?
leaving corporate
Because our
America.
goal is to make sure we're telling stories that are repeatable.
Right.
What would you advise someone who would like to do what you did?
Right.
Well, I don't know that I would necessarily tell people to do things the way that I.
Okay. And the money?
We want to be like you. We want to pick up and move.
And you can, and it's very exciting and adventurous. And I was always scared. But is it advisable? There are so many opportunities to do things in an easier way nowadays that weren't available to me at that time. You can drive Lyft. You could do so many different things in
Okay.
order to make money upon landing. The app world is amazing. We're talking 20 years ago. So I always had a little bit of a savings. I enjoyed saving money.
Uh,
I liked the comfort of it. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough for me to know that I could depend on myself. I didn't like borrowing money.
okay.
Uh, I always had the mentality of pay off everything as fast as possible. That was how I was taught by my parents. So I grew up in a family where I watched, my parents learn English well enough to be able to work with customers and make a life for us. And their philosophy was always pay off everything as fast as you can. Try and pay off the house you live in. You never wanna have credit balance on your credit cards. So I really took all that on. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have a debt. I did, but I knew how to consolidate. So I always had the kind of mentality, hence the economic consulting, right? I just had the kind of mentality of, okay, how can I make the money work for me and not be stressed by it? Because I went skiing on the way and broke my hand and did not have health insurance and
Oh,
got an actual credit card debt for the first time. And it was quite a bit. I simply did not educate myself on things like healthcare. I took it for granted. When I worked in a restaurant, they provided it. I think it was like $15,000. It was quite a bit of debt,
wow.
medical debt. And because I broke my hand, I couldn't take the job that had been set up for me by the former restaurant manager to work in a restaurant. I built up my clientele. So I went to LA on a rough note.
So you moved to LA to start the business from a personal training perspective, but you knew you had an opportunity to work at a restaurant while you were building up your clientele. That was the plan.
That was the plan, exactly.
Okay, Bronca. So you said you went from Chicago to LA right? And with a broken hand. And then you had your personal training business in LA, right?
That's right. 3 years I was there. And then I did very well with personal training. I had excellent clients.
Ah,
Started in a gym, then I went independent. There are a lot of independent gyms there. Um, I met amazing people like Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal. So I
wow.
loved and training because I was exposed to these pro athletes. That's a
Okay.
dream come true. And I got even stronger with my own racing. I was continuing doing triathlons and got into marathon and adventure racing. Did well, but I always knew that I would want to travel the world. And I think that LA is the perfect jumping off point because there are so many people there that really, they work hard to succeed and they succeed and they remind you to stay on your path. And so I kept doubting and saying, maybe I should invest, maybe I should stay here. And my clients all knew me so well. And they said, Bronca, you've been talking about traveling the world as long as we've known you. If you can do it now. It's better to do it when you're younger and you can be uncomfortable longer because it's going to be on a cheap budget. So I saved money. I focused on a whole year. I paid off everything, student loans, my car, my medical debt, everything was in the clear. Focused on saving for my travels, did that for a year. Work, save. I would go to Chicago. I traded places with a friend who moved to LA. He took over my clients while I left, and he gave me his clients. So then I would go to Chicago, I would train, stay in my parents' place, save, and then
Okay,
run.
wait a minute. I want to make sure that our audience caught that. You actually had someone that you networked with and partnered with in your own industry who was willing to trade clients with you in
Wow.
order so that you could both maintain your business?
It was actually perfect timing in the sense that he had gotten married. I was friends with both the husband and wife. I moved to LA, became friends with the wife, and I had known him. He had worked in the gym where I had gotten into personal training. So I knew him, and then I knew her. I got to know them both individually. And their goal was to move back to LA. So he was a Chicago guy, she was an LA girl. And the plan was they're going to move back to LA. And so it was timed perfectly with when I was planning to leave. And so it worked out for them because then he didn't have to start from scratch. We had a similar training philosophy.
Mhm.
And then also on my end, um, his clients would get along with me because our nature was a little bit similar.
So now,
And
how long were you traveling before you went back to LA?
about 2 to 3 years I was gone.
Okay.
Then I ended up in Aspen, Colorado, which was very lucrative. I did
Okay.
really well. I think that that is the place to move if you want to make money. If there was an ocean there, I probably never would have left.
Okay.
Excellent clientele, wonderful experience. It's the first time that I ever touched down and just was able to do well financially. I was so pleasantly surprised. It was wonderful in many ways. However, my mind kept going back to Hawaii. I really have a connection with the ocean. Maybe it's growing up in
Okay.
Chicago, Lake
So,
Michigan.
so let me interrupt. Were you making money on the, I'm going to do that again. So were you making money on the massage side of the business or the personal side, trainer side of the business, or were you doing both in Aspen?
I was doing both in Aspen, but the majority of my income was with massage
Okay.
therapy. And it was wonderful because in the winters, my whole day was free. First service would be at 3 o'clock. So I would work a 3, a 4, and a 5. Sometimes I'd do house calls, which meant I would do more. But I had a very easy schedule. And it
So let's
was,
talk about money. How, when you say you can make a good living in Aspen, if there's someone who wants to become a massage therapist and they're watching now and they're thinking, I'm not making very much money, where I am, but I'm open to a relocation. What does good money look like? We talked about the fact that money is relative. What would you say is a good living in Aspen?
now, I don't want people to think that it's the same for everyone because it's a little bit more difficult for men. And I was offered work in different places. If you're favored by the clientele as I was, and a lot of people were, there are people out there who to this day they are there working seasonally because we all make good money. Um, I was making back in 2006, 2007, I could make 10,000 in a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty
And
good.
so
Okay, so the big question is, are you going back to Italy so we can come hang out there for a couple months?
Yes.
it's in my plan. That's all.
Tell us where you decide when you decide that you're going to put down roots and actually start a more formal business like the one you have now?
Basically, Hawaii was a place I visited. A friend told me I should come see it, so I did. It was very expensive. I liked it more than I expected. I realized after I left, after a few months here, but I also knew that Hawaii's the kind of place you have to come with a plan and with a bigger savings than I had.
Okay, that's incredible. Now, how many employees do you have? You mentioned you have a spa as well as the wellness training. What does your business look like today? How's it transitioned over the years?
Completely different. Now I manage people.
Okay.
So now I have a very different dynamic as far as the experience of the job goes. So I've gone from working one-on-one with clients who either have a bad lower back and working with them uh, in massage or training people, to having a front desk staff, which is where the employees are, having independent contractors, which is what the massage therapists and fitness teachers are, and making sure that everything is flowing smooth, that we're providing the best service possible. We work with the tourist business here in Honolulu. We don't really work much with the local clientele except for the country club contracts that we have. So it's more a matter of managing a small company of people.
So Bronca, that was a while ago. You said 2007, and you were making great money doing this business then in Aspen. So what does that look like today in your established business in Hawaii? How does that compare?
It's so difficult to compare. I mean, though in Hawaii, the business itself is, it hasn't gone any higher than 400,000 in annual revenue. That's the business. That's not my take. But I've also shortened my business. I've changed it quite a bit. So the hours are close to half of what they were, and locations have been shrunken down. Sometimes you just have to tighten business. And
Okay.
so fortunately, with all the changes I've made, the overall profit of the company has been just about the same, maybe a couple thousand difference. So that's good. The good thing is less work, same revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So so you had to build this up, obviously, right? How did you said something about tourism and contracts, right? If someone's just starting out, right, and they're starting their business from scratch like that in Hawaii, for example, how do you get contracts to start building that business?
As many people might think by listening to my zigzag lifestyle that I led, I had to deal with the challenge of people taking me seriously on an island where most people would leave, and it's difficult to be taken seriously.
Right.
So as a result, I got an opportunity to teach fitness on KITV. It's a local television network. And I said,
Ah,
well, that's good for my resume, because if I'm on television, I have some credentials then.
Now, how did you get wait, how did you end up on television? How do you start? How do you do that?
There was someone I knew who was doing it, and she was leaving, and she asked if I wanted to take over. So it was just serendipity.
Ah,
And I love teaching and I love sharing. So it was perfect for me. It was just perfect. It wasn't paid, but it was, again, it was more about building up who is this woman
hmm.
who, if you look at my resume, it's not going to make anyone want to commit to me, right? Even though what I had done was impressive, how many places I've gone to wasn't. So
right.
then, fortunately, the general manager of a country club had taken my class. He was the general manager of the nicest gym in town. So whenever I would land, I would say, okay, let me go to the nicest gym in town. Let me go where networking is good, and I'm going to do my thing. So that was always my system. I went there, and they allowed me to teach a Muay Thai boxing class. Mind you, that was during my first visit in Hawaii when I was here for 3 months. So I really have a hard time sitting still. So even if I'm somewhere, I don't know how long I'll be there, I still try to pursue to see what I can accomplish. So in that first visit, I got an opportunity to teach Muay Thai boxing. And so then that manager had taken my class. And so when I was cold calling places after I got my massage license in Hawaii, I left a message for the Outrigger Canoe Club, not knowing that the manager from the gym had moved there. And I got a call back saying, I remember you. I used to take your classes. I would love to
Wow. Okay.
sit down and talk and see what we can do.
So now, how long does it take to get a massage license, and how much does it cost? And did you have to do it? Did you have to repeat the process once you move to a different state? There's some people who might be thinking massage is a great idea to live location independent, and they'd love to travel using
Mhm.
those skills. But what does that cost, and what does it look like moving from state to state?
It takes the average person, I would say, 6 months of practical, maybe 2 months of schooling. I finished everything in record time. I completed everything from start to finish in less than 4 months. But that's because I knew that I didn't have that much time, and in the sense that I didn't have that much money. So
Okay.
I say, clearly, the school knew I was clearly experienced. They could tell by my touch and my knowledge. And so then I took the classes day and night instead of just day or night. And
Mm.
I used all the hours in between to do practical. I don't know if that's why
Wow.
longer, but I was clocking in 12 hours a day. And then I was trying to do some massage work in the evenings to make some income.
So if someone was going to get the license today, Bronca, how much would a massage therapist license be for the, would you say, the 4 months?
It would take I don't think it would be permissible for under 6 months
Okay.
today, realistically.
Okay. So how much would it cost for the license?
Between 3 and 4,000, I think, is the price. I don't know what the going rate is today, but I do believe it's still the most economic school that there is.
Okay. Cool.
You have been in business now as an entrepreneur now for 20 years or so. During this time, I'm guessing you've made some mistakes, you've had some failures. What are some of the mistakes you made and things that happened that you wish you could have avoided?
Well, I was thinking about it today, actually, while I was doing my workout. They have to do with numbers. So I would have liked to have studied business in school because I feel that so much is taught that I
Mhm.
picked up in real life, but it really would have been nice to have some more cheat sheets as far as that goes. Um, the cost of credit card processing and room charge and all the hidden fees in business. I mean, those are things that can be adjusted, but it's wonderful to know ahead of time rather than later so that you don't have to change things. So then it's all a matter of, okay, I have to change the system now. Those are some mistakes. I don't know that I would call them mistakes. They were just part of learning. I
Mhm.
always coach mentality. So my idea was I'm going to make the best I can out of this individual. So I knew how to help people get fit and healthy. So I had that same approach with people who worked with me, my contractors, employees. The attitude was always let's let's bring the best out of you. And that doesn't always work. So I do believe in giving 100%
Mhm.
to everyone, to trying to develop everyone. But I've also learned that sometimes people are who they are, and I just have to be more selective. So if I could go back and do things differently to save myself a lot of energy, I would have been more selective in my process from the get go instead of so optimistic.
Okay. So at this point, since it's 2020, do you plan on growing the business anymore or are you scaling back still?
I think I've scaled back about as much as I can
Okay.
without cutting off the meat too. Trim the fat, basically.
Okay.
And at this point, it's just about increasing sales. Sales grew quite a bit in 2019 over 2018 for the one location, um, 43%, which is wonderful
Now,
for
what
one
did you
location.
do to create that growth, right? There are entrepreneurs who are watching also, and the goal is always to figure out what can you do to grow? How do you increase your revenue? And is that repeatable?
What I did differently is rather than believing in my own website building abilities, which are not as great as I'd like to think they are, I have a professional who is also able to see how many clicks there have been, and he's wonderful at it.
Okay.
So he did a wonderful job with that. He's opened my eyes to how we can fine tune things as far as modern day world visibility goes. And I have wonderful interns who work at the front desk, and they've kidnapped my business Facebook and taken down everything that I've put up and my Instagram, and they have made it look very clean and polished. So
Okay.
I would say it's a combination. Also, we have more good reviews. Reviews are really key for a business. Most people
Uh,
will leave on we have a lot of people from Australia, New Zealand, and North America. So a lot of people look to TripAdvisor. So we always ask our guests, to please review us. That's helped quite a bit. The other is just time. We have a lot of competition. There are spas to the left and to the right of us.
Mhm.
So we increased our prices a little bit last year, which could have helped. But the numbers of services, it's the number of services that's increased. My goal was always to have enough people on shift all day, whereas before we had a lot of cutting and pasting of people moving them around when we had multiple locations. So it's been simplified to be this one little area that we can manage a little bit more efficiently. And I think that's helped, the fact that we could focus our energy in one. I've heard other business people tell me, get one location to be so clean and tight so that if you want to franchise it, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've been focusing on that. How do I make this one tight?
Okay.
So are you happy with where your business is now, Bronca? And would you change anything at this point?
I'm always happy when the business doesn't need me. That
Okay.
means I do a good job.
Right.
When a business is dependent on people rather than just selling product,
Uh,
the 4-hour work week touches on immediately, the original one. When you're dependent on other people, it's difficult to be able to separate and make money. So the trick is, yes, I can hire a manager to do what I'm doing, or general manager, manager on duty, and all of that, but is there any money going to be left for the owner? Because you always have to pay other people before you pay yourself, is the concept, right? So I'm happy currently, yes, because I have the freedom to leave, which I still love to do. I still love to go to other countries or visit my family now more and things of that nature. At this point, I would not change anything because I'm happy with where it's going.
okay.
Where do you see the business going now?
There's the side of me that just needs to create. So I don't know what's going to come next, but I know something will.
So you're gonna sell the business and travel the world and have a house on a hilltop in Italy, is what you're saying.
That sounds perfect. So if I were to guess what I would do, I would probably do wellness retreats. I always loved loved coaching people to do their first triathlon. Love
Okay.
healthy food. So then the natural thing is, I myself do a cleanse of sorts every year. I think it's life enhancing. I'm able to share what I learn with people. I would love to do something like that all over the world. Go to places where people don't have the opportunity to understand how they can feel better and share it with them. And
Huh,
go to
that
places.
sounds
We
cool.
support that, Bronca. We'll be meeting you there.
Okay, that's great.
All right, you have given us, a lot to think about as it pertains to the ability to move around and build a business based on your passion and what you love to do. So next round is bonus questions.
Yes.
We want to know how you enrich your life. Are there podcasts you read, books? Are there YouTubers you follow? What kind of information do you continue to digest in order to help you stay focused or to help you move to that next level?
The first book I read and listened to when I would exercise was The 4-Hour Work Week. My clients had recommended it at the time. Recently, I've read the E-Myth Revisited, which is very helpful for anyone who has a business and might feel stuck and wonder, how can I not feel stuck being a business
Wow. Okay.
book? And I frequently listen to and or read meditation books. I love listening to Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra. I'm reading biography by Yogananda, the first yoga literature written by a yogi who was born in the 1800s.
Wow.
Things of that nature help. I like going on long bike rides, so audiobooks are wonderful during long bike rides. If I'm frustrated or feeling stuck, it's always helpful to go to those sources to get the mind to remember.
Right.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, we love our audiobooks.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next bonus question, Bronca. What does legacy builder mean to you?
So legacy to me is just something that I have been passed on from others. So it's my job to pass on the torch. I was once told by another one of my mentors, the greatest gift you can give is knowledge sharing. And there's opportunity for everyone to do well in life. It's not a competition. And while I competed in sports, I never had a competition mentality as far as drive the other person down. Healthy competition is fun where you boost each other up. But my goal is to pass on with people who work with me, especially these young interns who are just beginning their careers. Pass on what have I done that I would recommend they try, or what can they do next? Listen to what their goals are. I have 6 nieces and nephews. I always hope to inspire them. I always hope that one of them just moves to another country. I just want them to see the difference. So if there's anything that I could pass on as far as legacy goes, since I don't have any children of my own, is to pass on what's available in this world.
Okay. So now, if there are people who are interested in learning more about what it is you do, are you open to the idea of people maybe communicating with you via email on the idea of starting a business or massage therapy? Is that something we could, offer as a way for people to get some feedback or some insight if they don't have a mentor or don't feel as though they have access to someone who might have the wealth of knowledge that you have in this space of wellness and personal training?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I had the pleasure of having students come to me back in the days when I was training and teaching who just had a passion for it and didn't know how to get started. And
Okay.
that's started. So again, yes, absolutely. Knowledge sharing is the way to go.
Awesome.
And they can also visit your spa in Hawaii, right?
That's right. People can come to work in the spa in Hawaii and then visit.
So that's the real question then. Where can people find you?
Yeah.
So they can contact me on my email. I
Okay.
have a couple different emails. Branka28@me.com is an easy one. It's BRANKA28@me.com. If someone would like to take a look at the business as far as the spa and the wellness offerings that are available in Honolulu,
Mhm.
that's on the website, which is hawaiiinfinity.com. That's 3 I's in there, hawaiiinfinity.com.
Okay.
Either one. One is, it's great if they just want to take a look and see the photos and what's available on this little island.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Learn, Hustle, Grow. We want to present our legacy builders with a variety of options and let people know that there are different businesses and different opportunities available. And we are so appreciative of the fact that you are willing to make yourself available should they have any questions. I think that's one of the biggest gifts that you can give us. And we love you for that.
Yeah. I mean, and this also shows people, Branka, that you can build something from scratch. I mean, you proved it right now. So it's amazing. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day, Branka, for this call. We appreciate you.
And thank you both for sharing everything you've learned in your lives with me. You've really created a nice path for me as well.
We have loved having you, and we think the legacy builders will enjoy the information. I guess until we see you again.
Hopefully on the
Bye.
Bye.